Ball, the NBA, where caring happens. And here are your starting lineups for the Houston Rockets. The first guy up there is Aaron Brooks from the University of Oregon, fighting duck, 27 points. Artest, we didn't hear much from. I look for him to have a big night. And Scola, I guess I'll let y'all talk now.
And don't forget the man in the middle from the best high school in the world, Detroit Country Day, coming out of Detroit, Coach Keenan. How you doing? Anyway, Shane Battier had 7 points, and I expect for him to lift that up and not just be a present defensively.
Well, shouts out there. If y'all giving shouts out to high schools, what's up, there? Coach Noah from Oakland, California. High school, you know?
And here is your starting lineup for the Portland Trailblazers.
Hey, Blake got to step up.
Aldridge got
to really step up. The rest of the other two, I don't consider. I mean, Roy, I know he's going to have a big game, but them two, Blake and Aldridge, that's the ones that's going to really have to step up. They can't have 5 and 7 points for them to even have a chance.
I'd like to see Greg Oden, get a little involved, GP. As we look at this, I mean, he had, some good points, but you can have a bigger impact in the playoff with less minutes. And so I don't look to put that pressure on Big Greg, but I think if he plays, because he had a great game, 6 for 7.
He played well.
No, he played very well in 21 minutes. And I look for him even to maybe have a little bit more of an impact, because if he was a little nervous and got it going, you never know. Maybe this is the season that he's been waiting for.
And you guys have once again not talked about the Houston Rockets. We're going to take a break.
Oh, that was the plan.
Right after this. They're probably watching in the locker room. They're watching in the locker room. This game is brought to you in stunning high definition by Hire, the official HD TV provider of the NBA. I give you guys one more chance to talk about Houston Rockets.
Houston Rockets, great coach. The coach has been there, been to 2 finals, my man, Coach Alderman. But I think Houston, if they do not get the scoring from a Yao Ming, I think some players could definitely step up. I do not expect Aaron Brooks to have that big of a game. Just like Rose, you're a rookie, you have those type of games. But I did expect that. Oh, you do?
All right. No, go ahead.
Because, but I'm just saying, you're a rookie, and that rookie embarrassed them. So I expect that whole team to be focused upon Brooks. But, like you said, I do expect the Shane Battiers, the Scolas, to come up and have a big impact, GP.
Reputations are made in the playoffs.
I'm just going to say it's going to be a different basketball game.
Well, they're getting ready to throw it up out there at the Rose Garden. There is Aaron Brooks, and there is Paul Allen right behind him, the owner of the Portland Trail Blazers. And let's throw it out now to Mike Barrett and Mike Rice for the call of this game.
Really helps the Blazers. They never had to go to that offensive nightmare.
As the Rockets control early on, as 7'6" Yao wins the opening tip. Zip pass to Artest. Batum blocks it, and it's off Artest, out of bounds to Portland. So maybe a good defensive play early will spark the Trailblazers. This one by the rookie Batum.
Yeah, and they tried to post up. Of course, Ron Artest off the flex cut. That's something they do a lot early in a game.
Roy elbow jumper.
Yeah.
Boy, the start of this game we talked about so vital to the Trailblazers. We mentioned last night on our program, first 2 minutes, maybe first 5 shots, whatever it is, it's big for Portland to get some positive energy early.
And immediately they put Joel Przbilla.
As Artest hits a long 2 with Batum right in his face.
Yeah, now that's not a bad shot for the Blazers to make Artest take. He only shoots 40%, but he shoots the same from the 3-point line as he does the 2.
And Yao picks up a foul inside. It's not going to be Yao. It's going to be Shane Battier. He got a piece of Przbilla.
Now
so away from the ball, Battier picks up the foul.
Last game they started Battier on Roy early. Now they have Artest on him. So the little change in strategy, they probably figure Roy's going to try to get hot early.
Blake to the right side, scores with the right hand. That's another guy that Portland needs to be aggressive early, and that's Steve Blake, who passed up some open looks in game 1.
Yeah, and the only one that went right at Yao Ming early in game 1 was Brandon Roy. Now we see it's going to be a little change of strategy.
Artest up top gets the pick from Yao. Artest fading, this time off the mark. A rare chance for Portland to run.
Yeah, and that's the kind of shot they want Artest to take. Sometimes it's a good thing if he makes the first shot. Then he'll keep shooting.
LaMarcus Aldridge short with the top of the key jumper, but that's a shot he has got to continue to take.
Now they have LaMarcus fronting Yao Ming.
Foul's going to be on Batum out top. As Aldridge had Artest run into his knees. Przbilla finished hard on Artest, and Artest didn't like it. Boy, after the whistle, and now Artest is, as you see the replay on Blake's shot, and
Well, Artest heard the whistle, and he kept going.
And Przybilla went to block the shot to make sure it wasn't a continuation and one. But the problem is, once he went to the floor, he ran into Aldridge. It looked like he hyperextended his knee a little bit, but he's all right. Here's Aaron Brooks. All the way under. They get the switch. Brooks out top. Artest shuffled the feet, got away with a walk. Top of the key, hit the jumper.
Nice pick set by Yao Ming on that play. Boy, he is so big setting picks. The same with Scola.
Roy up top against Artest. Brandon, top of the key. Looks off and is. The rebound taken by Aaron Brooks. Trailblazers loosened up a bit after the opening shot, but still look a little bit tight as Przybilla gets the foul on Yao as he was trying to keep Yao from getting to his position to set the pick for Battier.
Joey Crawford will make sure there's not an overabundance of banging away from the ball. Yao gave it a little flop action also, and Joel did touch it.
Brooks' foul line jumper is perfect. So Houston starts off 3 for 5 shooting, and they grab their first lead. And now we have a foul away from the ball on Luis Scola. And if it's called like this, Portland's going to be in good shape, because the other night it wasn't. And Aldridge was never able to get a low catch on the block. Scola very good at keeping you from getting to the spots you want to get to off the ball.
Yeah.
If it's going to be called like that on Scola, Aldridge should have a nice night.
Absolutely. He's got 261 fouls on the year, Scola, so he will foul you.
Batum for 3. Got it. Roy set it up on the baseline.
And somebody else besides Brandon Roy, that's what Nate said yesterday at practice, has to step up. We don't want to use Roy early in the game. We want to use the rest and then bring Roy heavy in the second.
Blazers only hit 1 3-pointer in the entire game 1 and hit their first attempt here. Batum's got to be careful, though. He already has 1 foul. Artest wants to make it 2. The double comes. Artest kicks it out. Brooks, they didn't get it off. Shot clock violation. That's good Portland defense.
Yeah, and that's not clock recognition by Artest. He dribbled. He looked a little like Charles Barkley when they didn't have that 5-second dribble rule, trying to set somebody up, mostly himself.
We want to welcome those of you watching nationally tonight on NBA TV. Trailblazers Rockets Game 2 from sold-out Rose Garden. Here's Roy over Yao off the mark. So Brandon starts 1 for 3.
And that's the shot Roy has to make. Yao is not coming out on that pick and roll.
Brooks, far side, Scola. He's been knocking that one down. This one off the mark, but Yao tips it up and in.
Well, he's 7'6". That's why he's one of the leaders in points in the paint. He has 856 on the year, and that's how he gets them. Nice little tips.
Aldridge to the middle. His jump hook over Scola is down. Yao thought about coming to help aggressively, but stayed off.
And because Batum already has taken his shot, Blake has taken his shot, they're not so quick to double-team LaMarcus when he goes on Scola.
Scola moves around the pick, runs down. Batum, offensive foul. Actually, Roy it was. We go the other way. Second foul on Scola. That's big.
And that is big. We said he's number 3 in personal fouls for forwards.
Look at Roy set up just outside the restricted area.
Now they're going to take it away. They're going to say he was in the lane.
They change the call now and call a blocking foul on Brandon Roy. So Houston's not going to substitute. They're going to keep Scola in. Saying Roy was inside the restricted area. Indeed, he was.
You know, it's interesting because Battier was kind of screening Roy off and not allowing him to get out of the circle. And that's what Roy's saying right now. He's saying, I was out, and Battier backed me back into the circle. And that is a big, big call. It would have taken Scola out of the game and brought Chuck Hayes, who is a very good defender against LaMarcus Aldridge, but not the offensive player Scola is.
So Scola misses the free throw. And now Portland looking to reclaim the lead. Defensive 3-second technical. Boy, whistle's already blown a lot more this first quarter than we saw in the entire first quarter in Game 1.
Well, these refs are looking for things that happened in Game 1. They have tapes also, and they probably saw Yao Ming playing a zone the whole first half of Game 1. They're not going to let him do it without having a man near him.
Well, veteran crew, as you would expect. Joey Crawford, Ed Malloy, Derek Stafford. As Batum will inbound on the side for Portland. 4 minutes gone here, opening quarter. We're tied at 10. Rockets never did trail in game one. It was a wire-to-wire victory. As Blake gets a pick from Prisbilla. Now Roy. Houston doubles immediately. That's another. No, that's on Prisbilla. So Portland turnover. We go the other way.
And that time Joel, the leading offensive rebounder for the Blazers, thought that Roy was going to take a jump shot. And that's what Nate said. You can't pass up shots. Their defense gets very, very good the last 6 seconds of the 24-second clock. So when you have a shot, take it. And you know that's not the Blazers, the way they play.
Blake the foul on Brooks and a technical on Blake, it sounds like. As the refs trying to get this under control early on, let's take a look. It looked like Brooks had Blake as much hooked as Blake had Brooks. We'll see.
No, well, Blake put his hands out. That was a foul on him. Brooks kept going, and you know the emotions are very high for this Blazer team that lost game one by almost 30 points. That was an embarrassment. So right now, I'm sure Nate has them ready.
But once again, with the way the continuation is, Blake has the right to keep Brooks from throwing the ball at the rim and maybe get 2 free throws.
Yeah, I think he was a little more aggressive than he needed to be.
As Artest hits and Houston on top as Rockets start off red hot again. 6 for 9 shooting, 67%. And again, these are contested shots. They're just hitting them here early. It's what they did throughout game one. Blake out top, doubled momentarily. Now Prisbilla gives the pick. Blake steps for 3 and hits. There's no hesitation for Blake that time.
They went behind the pick and roll all through game one, and usually Blake will step back, a 43% shooter from the three-point line.
Batum nearly the steal, but he's called for the foul out top. Second foul on Batum. He's done a nice job here early, but he's going to have to sit down now.
With his length, he usually bothers people, but Ron Artest, remember, one of the strongest small forwards in the NBA.
And Houston, a great free throw shooting team, and now they're in the Blazers in the penalty, so Houston shooting free throws the final 7:02 of this opening quarter. That is a long time to be in the penalty.
And it's an 80% shooting team, the Houston Rockets. I think they're number 3 in the NBA at 80%.
And Artest to make it a pair as Houston did miss the earlier free throw. Scola. But Artest makes a pair here. Ron Artest, big start for him tonight. 8 points, 3 for 5 from the field, and a couple free throws as well.
The whole look of this team changed when Tracy McGrady went down with the injury and Rafer Alston left with a trade.
Roy up and under, takes the hit from Yao and scores with the left hand.
Notice Yao's not going to get in foul trouble. Roy went into him. The referees made a nice no call on the play as Roy initiated the action.
Battier sets a pick on Prisbilla. Joel tries to front and does. Now slips behind Yao. Battier in the corner. Now the entry pass to Yao. His first outside shot. And that's his first miss of the series.
And that's the kind of shot he made in game one.
Everything he looked at, he made. Aldridge along, too. That's short and off, so LaMarcus starts off 1 for 3. Blazers, though, 60% shooting. They're 6 of 10. Rockets, 6 of 10.
Notice Blake is getting around that pick a lot quicker in this ball game.
They're giving Scola the outside shot. This time he opted for better. He banks it in with a hook, and that's a move we saw in game one, and of course he was successful and had a nice ball game.
That's
in game one, 19 points.
Yeah, he's improved that part of his game, that backup post.
Blake another 3. This one off the mark. Rebound tipped and claimed by Prisbilla. Artest trying to slap it away. The pass inside for Batum is off the mark. Off of Yao, Portland ball. No, they're going to say Houston ball out of bounds.
Well, I'll tell you,
and a timeout on the floor. 5:39 left opening quarter. Rockets by 2. won a scoring title, but never a playoff series.
Okay. Well, there could be a couple of guys that fit into that category. One small, one pretty big.
As Houston will have it. Blazers were feeling the other night, at least the fans were, that they were not being given a fair shake. But early on here tonight, I think the officials trying to set the tempo and make this thing not get too physical, as the Rockets have certainly said they expected Portland to come out more aggressive and more physical. We've seen a lot more called here early in Game 2 than we saw in Game 1.
Well, Joey Crawford's an official that you love to get on the road because he's not afraid of the home crowd to make calls against them.
Travis Outlaw in, Nicholas Batum out with his 2 fouls. Scola steps underneath, might have got away with a walk. Yao over the back of Prisbilla, and it's going to be Houston ball. It should have been Portland ball, it looked like from the replay, back to back. They're going to change this. Derek Stafford will give this ball to Portland.
No, but I think he's being talked out of it.
No, it's going to be Portland ball.
And I tell you, Derek Stafford did a good thing for Ed Malloy, as you see Yao Ming. Now, I'll tell you, it was close.
Looked like Prisbilla would have had it. Yao maybe knocked it out of his hand, but it was close.
It was close.
And the replay showed it should have been Portland ball in the last possession, so they'll call it even. Here's Roy. Inside to Aldridge, who just 1 for 3 shooting early on. Got to continue to be aggressive. Blake.
Boy, they had Joe Prisbilla wide open when Yao came over to
Shot
help.
clock at 2. Blake a long 3. Rattles out, and the rebound Yao inside. Portland hesitating a few times there, but that's good Houston defense.
Yeah, and I think Brandon has to get a little more involved in the offense looking to score right about now.
And that's a turnover, Houston, as Prisbilla using a little side deny on Yao, different than we saw the other night where he was playing him pretty much straight up behind. That helped there.
Yeah, and remember, Yao is number 5 for centers in the NBA in turnovers. He averages 3 a game. Only Howard averages more turnovers for centers than Yao Ming. He'll turn it over.
Here's Roy against Scola, lost control of the ball, now goes baseline, going to take it at Yao. Blake for 3, off the mark, Prisbilla offensive rebound. Takes it inside, blocked by Scola from behind.
That's when you have to kick it out. They really are a great help team.
Artest again. Ron Artest into double figures with 10. 4 of 6 shooting for him. So Houston simply saying, you're going to take Yao out of it, we'll go to somebody else.
It's amazing how his game is more under control, Artest, since Tracy McGrady is out and they're not competing for outside shots.
Roy, step-through move. Inside, takes the hit from Yao again. Scores it off the glass. Nate McMillan furious on the sideline. Roy has been successful in drawing contact on Yao. And there is Artest again. As good as Yao was in the first half in Game 1, Artest has been that good here in the first half of Game 2.
Now notice how they lean towards
Prisbilla into Yao, and there is a foul on Yao.
See, and Yao's out of position because he's coming over to help on LaMarcus Aldridge. So if they can get the ball to Prisbilla quick enough, he can go to the hoop.
Watch Roy here take the hit.
Oh, man.
See, and that's automatic during the regular season, and that's why some fans were upset on Game 1 anyway with some of the contact inside. But you have to know at this point, after Game 1, it's not going to be called, so don't expect it.
Yeah, but all during the year, Yao has committed 257 personal fouls. There's only 3 guys that have more in the NBA, so he does foul, and you're right, MB, they do call it in the regular year. He's been given kind of a free pass in his first 2 games so far.
And Roy is so good at drawing contact inside. That's how he makes his living, and it just has not been there in these first 2 games, at least the contact or the trips to the free throw line. Here's Battier. A 3 over Roy, looks well short and is. The rebound, Aldridge.
Blazers want to push it up simply because to get Yao Ming running both ends of the court.
Roy cut off by Yao. Ball out top off of, loose ball foul, Aaron Brooks. As Blake had a line to it, Brooks kind of cut him off as Greg Oden will check in when we come back, and we'll give Joel Prisbilla his first rest as Portland will have it with 14 on the clock, trailing by 4. Mutombo check in for Houston. And as I mentioned before the break, Greg Oden in for Portland. Now, Greg Oden did some damage to Mutombo in the second half the other night. Mutombo, of course, also blocked a few Portland shots, so we'll watch that matchup.
And this is usually if Skola's in foul trouble, they have Hayes in there, and they're not nearly as good offensively, but they keep Scola in there because he only has one foul.
Trying to get it to Aldridge. Back to Outlaw. Got to put it up. They didn't get it off. And that's out of a timeout. And Portland, of course, had 14 on the clock, so it wasn't like you designed a play with 3 on the clock out of the timeout, but you got to know.
But, yes, that's focus. That's, you know, if you're completely focused on what's going on in the game and nothing else, you don't have a shot clock violation coming out of a timeout. You know there's 14 seconds. So, and it'll be interesting to see if the Blazers stop trying to go to L.A. early and try to get to Greg against Mutombo. Those legs have been in the NBA a lot of years of Mutombo.
Of course, Rudy Fernandez in as well. Artest has been red hot here in this first half. He has it now isolated against Outlaw.
You like him dribbling like that. He'll make turnovers.
Travis playing good defense. Artest step back, got the roll. Artest with 15 first quarter points.
And usually you like him doing that because he'll do something, but when those shots go in, man.
Aldridge trying to work a variety of moves on Scola, and he finally hits the fadeaway. Second field goal for LaMarcus.
And see, LaMarcus waited to see. Usually it's Yao Ming coming over to help out. LaMarcus was challenging them in game 1. Now he's fading back and taking that jump shot where there's no double team help.
Houston 63% shooting here in this opening quarter. Artest with it. Scola at the foul line. Back to Von Wafer. His 3 is short. Rebound. Roy. Can he track it down? Yes. Portland shooting just 47%. So if you're the Blazers, I guess once again, you got to feel pretty good to be down only 4.
Yes.
Roy out to Rudy. They're not giving him any room. As Brooks out. The high pick for Fernandez. Rudy step through move, runner off the mark, and the foul is going to be on Mutombo, and he hurt himself. Mutombo, I'm not sure if it's a left knee, and he's calling immediately for the bench as Dikembe Mutombo is down and hurting and holding his left knee. And Jay Jensen, the Blazers trainer, the first one out to help as Mutombo is really in pain, slapping the floor.
Yeah, and Mutombo has been around the NBA long enough. He knows a serious injury to his body.
And you just talked about how long those legs have been in the NBA.
Oh,
this is 18th season, Dikembe Mutombo.
And he's one of the all-time best, both rebounding, shot blocks, and off-the-court charity work.
Philanthropist, he's
Yeah,
phenomenal. Let's
no
take a
one
look
better.
and see if we can see. It's like it just kind of gave. I don't know if it happened at the end of the play. Looked like it could have happened in a couple of places. Is now Joey Crawford going to check? A lot of the Rocket players over concerned. And it's going to be a full timeout.
And that's when Rick Adelman came out, but you have to call it a full timeout.
So Yao showing his concern as Mutombo still on the floor and holding a left knee. We'll have an update when we come back. Inside the Rose Garden in Portland, things have stopped here momentarily for Dikembe Mutombo, who, well, we showed the replay a moment ago. It was hard to tell when it happened. It looked almost like it was before Oden hit him. It was just kind of like he turned. It looked like the knee buckled. Take a look at this left knee now on Mutombo.
Oh,
right
yeah,
there,
right there.
it looks like it goes.
That's where it went, right there.
And you see
and
him.
he still tried to stop Greg Oden from shooting, and that's when he put even more weight on it. It buckled earlier, then he took another step, and it buckled again. So,
And as you've said, here's a veteran who knows when something serious has happened, and he hasn't even tried to get up yet. And so, a little blow to the psyche of Houston, to be sure, and the first thing that has gone wrong for them in this series, really. As Mutombo will be carted out. And when you get a guy like Mutombo in his 18th season, you have to start wondering, have we seen, perhaps, we don't know, the end of Dikembe Mutombo? And if it is, well, tremendous career as a standing ovation. You know, Dikembe here from the Rose Garden crowd, knowledgeable basketball fans. Of course, everybody knows Dikembe and what he has meant to the sport and for his country and around the world as far as all the giving, as you mentioned, that he's done.
And he's done such a great job on every team that he has been on, whether he's the starting or backup center. They wanted him badly, the Houston Rockets, to back up Yao Ming.
Boy, and he just is in a ton of pain. You can see it.
Yeah.
And as soon as he went down, he was slapping the floor in agony.
And Aaron Brooks has been the guy that has hurt the Blazers in game 1 with making 5 out of 8 in the three-point department. Tonight, it's been another guy, Ron Artest, who is 6 for 8 in the ball game tonight.
And he's hit his only three-point attempt as they continue to strap Mutombo down, and there's Ron Artest.
Now, normally they wouldn't bring Yao Ming back in the game, but he's had about a 10-minute rest right here, and he's not in foul trouble, so they probably can bring Yao Ming back in.
And they're going to take Mutombo out of the nearest tunnel, and that's Portland's tunnel. But as you mentioned, it hasn't been Yao in the early going tonight. It has been Artest who has done it. 6 for 8 shooting. He's hit his only three-point attempt. He's also hit his 2 free throws, but doing it from long range. But again, as you also said, if you're Portland, as hot as Artest can get, he can also get cold at times and won't necessarily stop putting up the attempts.
And right here, you know, that's one of those, he goes left and fades away. Yao Ming back in there, as we said. Normally they would want to rest him a little longer in a game like this, but he's had 10 more minutes and he's not in foul trouble.
And Yao only played, and that was one of the positives for Houston, only played 24 minutes in game 1.
The whole thing, he only played 6 minutes second half. Everything was 24 points first half.
The game was over.
Yep.
And Oden drops down a pair of free throws, and the Blazers are within 2, despite the fact that the Rockets shooting 59% and Portland 44%. Here in the opening quarter, steal, Rudy. And he'll finish with 2 hands.
Well, that was a lazy pass from Aaron Brooks, his first real bad mistake of the 2 games.
Now the crowd back into it.
And now Travis has to do the job on Artest.
Only the 3rd fast break bucket for Portland so far in the series. Yao inside as the Blazers collapse around him, and he'll shoot free throws. Who will get the foul? Might have been Aldridge from the backside, or no, it's going to be Oden.
And for the first time, you really watch the Blazers give great help against Yao Ming going down the baseline. They had Aldridge and Travis Outlaw. Yao Ming's not a bad passer if you're double teaming him on the catch and he's looking over you. But once he starts dribbling, he's not thinking of passing the ball. He's not Bob Cousy. And for you fans out there that are a little young, Bob Cousy was a great point guard.
And Yao drops down a pair. Yao hit all 6 of his free throw attempts in game 1, and of course 87% on the season. Under a minute left, first quarter.
When Yao
Blazers just tied it on that Rudy jam, and Yao's free throws gives them the lead back. Outlaw baseline. Roy late to see him, and Travis fouled inside. He'll shoot free throws. Boy, Outlaw was left all alone in that right corner and cut to the hoop, and I think Roy was surprised to see him that open.
Roy looked at tape, and he sees that every time he starts dribbling, it's almost a wall of defenders set up to stop him.
And the foul goes to Von Wafer inside.
And, you know, now after looking at tape from game 1, Roy is trying to be a passer rather than a scorer. But that time, I thought Yao Ming backed off of him, and I think Roy has to take that little 10-footer.
1 of 2 for Outlaw. And the Blazers back within 1. They should get the final shot of the quarter. Brooks moves into Oden, trying to pick up his second. Nearly did. Here's Artest. Hit by a Yao pick out top was Outlaw. Yao gets it back. Rambles through the middle. Brooks. Shot clock at 8. Gets the switch. Aldridge on it. Blocks it out of bounds. 5 to shoot. for Houston. Boy, a good defense by Portland. Good adjustment, good rotation.
Yeah, they're staying with Aaron Brooks a lot better tonight. When he gets a pick, they switch, and they're running with him. The other night, Aaron Brooks had a lot of open space.
Yao trying to get Oden to bite. Throws it up baseline, off the mark. Blazers can hold for a final shot. As the shot clock is off, 8 seconds, Roy up top.
And I hope Roy is the guy that takes the shot.
Roy with Brooks on him for 3. Got it!
Yes!
Here's Artest from three-quarter court, and that's off the mark. And the Blazers finish off the first quarter by the 10-2 run, led by the defense. Rudy, of course, had the steal and the dunk, and then Roy here to end the quarter with a perfect three-pointer. Portland 3 for 5 from behind the three-point line in the opening quarter. Of course, in game 1, they were 1 for 11 from behind the three-point line. Portland looking to square this series after a beating Houston laid on them in game 1. So far, so good.
Lots of playoff action coming up this week. Tomorrow on TNT, it's the Heat at the Hawks, followed by the Hornets at the Nuggets. On NBA TV, we'll have the Sixers taking on the Magic. Friday on ESPN and ESPN2, it's the Cavs at the Pistons, Magic at Sixers, and the Blazers at the Rockets. Finally, Sunday on ABC, it's the Celtics at the Bulls and the Cavs at the Pistons. Now let's get you back out to Portland.
Seen this lineup on the floor was in a home game against Boston, and it didn't last long, but it was effective. Oden takes it at Yao, baseline. Throws it up and off. Presbilla trying to grab the rebound. Oden does. Portland should get every rebound inside there right now.
And I think Travis can take Von Wafer. He knows it.
Outlaw into Yao. Took the contact and scored.
Yeah. And now the Blazers have put a little pressure on. Boy, he got pushed right there.
Sergio coming up court. Travis out top.
No, that's
not a foul you want to see taken.
No.
Kyle Lowry well away from the hoop, not threatening.
And Travis is trying to show that he's going to be aggressive, but you don't show it this way. You show it this way right here.
Again, Yao leaves his feet, and there's contact in the key, and again, no foul.
Yeah, but Yao kept his hands straight up and went kind of back.
And Travis initiated the contact, so I get that side.
Yeah, that was a good no call.
Here's Wafer. Moves to the middle. Fouled on his way through. It won't be on Presbill. It'll be on the drive, probably on Fernandez. No, it'll be on Outlaw.
And Joel is calling everyone together for this reason.
No, it's on Greg Oden.
Oh.
You think this crowd was wanting this 3 to go down by Roy? Take a look. That's a great look.
Yeah. Great
camera far side. Von Wafer.
And what
drops in the first.
And what Joel was telling his teammates, if they get around you, remember, we've got 2 shot blockers in the game. One guy's going to leave Landry for sure. So don't foul coming to the hoop. Bring him to us.
Well, and Oden picked up that foul, so he now has 2. Prisbilla has 1 foul. And, of course, that would end this experiment in a hurry if Oden were to pick up his 3rd. Rudy up top, Sergio Rodriguez. Shot clock at 10. Outlaw gets a pick from Presbilla. Tough 2 on the way. Long. Presbilla thrown down by Yao. And the other way comes Kyle Lowry. Houston with numbers. Outlaw. No, a travel first. Portland a break there as Travis had bailed out Lowry and was about to send him to the line, he thought.
But good things happen when you get aggressive. A minute ago we said it was not a smart foul by Travis Outlaw. That time he was putting so much pressure. Before they committed the foul, they got the steps.
Sergio inside Oden. And they're going to have a foul first. And that's going to be on Yao. That's 2 on him.
See, and Yao's not getting any help because he's in there with people he normally doesn't play with. Normally you have the ever-present Louis Scola. Luis, yes.
He's not in there right now.
No, and he usually really works well with Yao Ming helping out.
Outlaw, baseline. Off the mark. Here comes Von Wafer in transition. Outlaw tracks him and blocked the shot. Picked up by Rodriguez. Houston, though, back with numbers. You shouldn't say back. They never left. Rudy thought about the three, then stepped on the sideline. Turnover.
Boy, you don't want turnovers like that. You don't have. There's a delay of game against the Blazers now. They've got to be smarter than that. They've got to keep their heads in the game right now. That was a delay of game. Although Houston never runs, they're number 30 in fast break points, so they'll come down and set it up.
Here's Wafer. I'd love to get the third on Oden as Yao and Sergio came together. Yao got the worst of it, and he's barking right now at Ed Malloy, but the Rockets turn it over. That's their 5th turnover. Portland with 3.
Now remember, Portland is not a team that forces turnovers. They're like San Antonio. They keep an arm in your face. They want a bad shot from you, but they're forcing some turnovers.
Crowd likes this matchup. Oden, the jump hook over Yao. No! Rebound. Boy, Prisbilla nearly got it, but it's picked up by Houston, and here comes Kyle Lowry in transition. Foul's going to be on Oden, and that's going to be his 3rd. No, it's going to be on Sergio Rodriguez. Boy, the officials came together briefly, and looked like they weren't sure to call that on. The Blazer bench making sure that was going to be on Sergio Rodriguez, and a good push up the court by Lowry, and that'll get him 2 free throws.
Yeah, Lowry, young man, he played at Villanova where they push the ball all the time. They'll push it. Early in the year, Lowry was playing more in the 4th quarter than Aaron Brooks. And then Aaron Brooks started to feel really good about himself, got a lot of confidence, had 28 double-digit scoring games early in the year, almost in a row. So Rick Adelman really felt comfortable with him in there, and now Lowry doesn't get as much quality time as he did earlier.
1 of 2, ball loose. Still loose. We're going to have a jump ball. How many players can we get in there?
Now the key is making sure you let Oden grab the ball down there low.
In there. I think it'll be Oden. Just hopefully it's not Yao for Portland. But
no, Yao was the only one that wasn't on the floor of the 10 guys on the court.
It's going to be Battier and Oden, or perhaps Lowry.
Yeah, it's Lowry.
That's even better for Portland. Carl Landy's trying to take it.
Now the Blazers have to make sure they get, well, there's a time.
Houston's going to take a full timeout. And if you were coaching Houston, you would try to sneak in about an 8'3" guy to take this jump ball.
I would try that.
9:31 left here, first half. Trailblazers by 1, low-scoring game. That's what Houston likes. 2 Rockets and Trailblazers. Portland on top by 1 early 2nd quarter. While the Blazers fan shop in the Rose Garden, your place to get exclusive Uprise playoff gear. It's open for business Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And during all Blazers home games, stop by today, or you can shop online at trailblazers.com as we throw it down to Rebecca Harlow.
Mike, Nate has the luxury of playing both Joel and Greg in the game at the same time tonight because he's got more balanced scoring from his Blazers, more connected team play. If you take a look at the numbers, there are 8 Blazers with points so far tonight. Nate has done a great job this entire ball game drawing up plays for multiple Blazers with lots of ball movement. He wants to keep the whole team involved. So far, they're much more connected tonight. He made the point that he wanted this team to understand it's not about individual matchups. It's about Portland versus Houston, and they need to use each other to get this win done, guys.
Well, we've seen good defensive rotations tonight and guys stepping in behind when a guy gets picked off, but we just didn't see that in game 1.
I'd love to see Roy in with the Twin Towers because I think he'd be enough of a threat. He could penetrate and then throw some alley-oop passes.
Rudy open 3 off an Oden pick. Long 2 for Fernandez. Foot on the line. He didn't have much time to get that off.
Yeah.
And Rudy's normally so much better when he has time to set his feet.
Yeah,
Portland is 2 for 6 shooting in the quarter. Houston 0 for 1. Lowry runs into Fernandez. And a foul on Rudy. Not quite there in time, and Rudy says, yep. So Steve Blake going to head back into the game.
And they're trying to ask if it's 1. Okay,
he was passing off.
Yeah, and they were trying to ask at that point, Derek Stafford, was he shooting? And Joey Crawford came in and said no on the side.
Yeah, no Yao Ming in the game right now, but Portland stays with, well, no, not for long. Nate McMillan in front of me, he looks at that and yells to the bench and says, L.A. As for Aldridge, Battier goes backdoor on Outlaw and dunks with 2 hands.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see, because that time the Twin Towers were both out on smaller people. Now, you don't have to. Chuck Hayes can't shoot, and Landry doesn't shoot real well, so you don't have to chase them outside.
Foul on Hayes. Excuse me, Landry. Yes, it was Hayes on Oden. Knocked it away and called for the foul. So that's just the first team foul on Houston here in the quarter. Portland already with 4 again. They got in the penalty very early in that first quarter, and they're going to be in it early here in the second as well.
Let's see if Rick Adelman now, the Blazers go back with Roy and Aldridge. Let's see if he has to come back with Artest and Brooks.
Oden going to work against Chuck Hayes. Backs down. Jump hook with the right hand is off. He was off balance when he put it up. Here comes Lowry for the Rockets.
That's when he has to learn to take his time when he has balance.
Battier. Foul on Fernandez, his second, and now free throws the rest of the way for Houston with 8:20 left in the first half.
And this is when the Blazers should make hay. Houston Rockets second unit really has done a good job. Landry, Lowry. They had Yao Ming in there, but they took Yao Ming out and put Shane Battier back in because the Blazers went a little smaller. So it's kind of a chess match between these two clubs. It looks like a hockey game where you're trying to get to your best line against their best line. They have 4 starters sitting looking on. That's why you would think the Blazers need to capitalize on the matchups right now.
Trying to get Rudy free in the corner. Wafer closes. Nice pass to Aldridge. Marcus hesitated the first time, but hit it the second time he looked at it.
Yeah, and that's Landry on him right now. Landry will not do the job that a Chuck Hayes would do, but Hayes has to check Greg Oden, so that should leave LaMarcus with a field day.
Aldridge's third field goal. He had 3 field goals in all of game 1. Near steal out top Fernandez. Von Wafer then takes a pull-up 15-footer and drops it over Aldridge.
He can shoot that. He loves to go left and pull up and shoot. Marcus gave him a lot of room there.
And you see Aldridge trying to hustle down the court to get early post-up position. Up and under, got to get rid of it. And he hits it. It almost got called for 3 in the key, but Aldridge now starting to warm up a bit. 4 of 6 shooting at 8 points.
Well, the young man from Purdue, Carl Landry, isn't up to checking him. They may have to switch it and put Hayes over there, put Landry on the big guy.
Hayes did a nice job on Aldridge. Wow. Kyle Lowry into Oden. Oden standing still, grabbing the ball, and we talked a moment ago how at this end, how Brandon Roy taking the contact and initiating to Yao, and that time much the same. Here's the Aldridge move, and then here's the foul a moment ago on Oden.
Yeah. See, right there. Now, Oden early in the year would bump somebody there, but that time he put his hands up and backed up, and it looked like Lowry was out of control and nowhere to go.
Third foul on Oden. He'll have to sit down. But a nice run for him, and with no Yao in the game, Portland can go back a little smaller before they go back to Prisbilla.
But that third foul could mean something in the fourth quarter when Yao Ming is back in there fresh.
Yes.
You could use both of the big guys in that situation, but now Greg has 3 fouls.
Roy turns the corner, takes it down the middle, scores, and he's fouled. It's going to be on Chuck Hayes with a little bump. And Roy with the finish and a chance at a 3-point play.
And Nate jumps up and wants to know why Ed Malloy didn't call that down on the baseline. Ed Malloy has had the whistle going down at the other end from outside. That time it took Derek Stafford way out court to call that. On Artest back in the ballgame.
Brandon Roy, 13 first half points. 5 of 7 from the field. He also has 4 rebounds. And Artest, who has 15 for Houston, as you mentioned, back in there now.
And Artest will try to post this group up.
Wafer gets the roll on the floater through the middle. A nice move by the former Laker and former Trailblazer Von Wafer.
You can't have him do that. There's no doubt that when this group is in there, Von Wafer, you can't have him scoring.
Aldridge off offense a little stagnant right now for Portland. Outlaw from the elbow off the mark. Rudy trying to grab the rebound, and it's knocked away, and Houston back with it, looking to tie or take the lead with a three-pointer.
Well, that was the right move. Travis Outlaw had Landry on him, and he knows I can score on Landry.
Blake hit by a pick by Hayes, and Lowry drops in the elbow jumper. So Houston starting to heat back up. Their field goal percentage back to 56%. Portland at 48% here in this first half.
Yeah, this second unit of Houston, as we said, doing a nice job of getting good shots.
Here's Roy, pops free on the baseline for a long two. It's short, and the rebound, Chuck Hayes.
But that's the shot you want your leading scorer, Brandon Roy, to get. That's why he's the 9th leading scorer in the NBA. Shots like that, he's got to be able to take that shot.
Wafer to the middle, fouled by Aldridge. Von Wafer, an aggressive drive, the same type he had a moment ago, only this time he went more to the hoop. And he'll end with free throws. There'll be attempts number 15 and 16 for the Rockets here in a quarter and a half.
To the Rose Garden, where we are all tied up at 39. I have a very special guest tonight, President Larry Miller. Now, the first time we saw the Twin Towers play together was here against Boston. We saw it for a couple of minutes. We're seeing it again tonight. Are you happy so far with the adjustments that this team is making tonight?
I am happy. We're definitely playing a much tougher game tonight. You can see that we're playing tougher defense, and I think the team is definitely off to a much better start. So I'm really happy with where we are right now.
Now, one of the most exciting things you've told me about these playoffs is that really this is just a preview of many, many years to come for this core team.
Well, we think we've got a great young team here, and, you know, this is just the beginning of what we think is going to be a great run into the future in terms of not just playoffs, but hopefully championships.
Thank you so much, Larry. Mike and Mike.
All right, thanks, Rebecca. And, you know, talking about that on Scott Howard Cooper, who's a friend of our courtside program and a good writer on SI.com. I like the way he put it today in an article talking about this Portland season. This season was a shot across the bow to the rest of the league. And imagine when they actually get good, Howard Cooper said. And, you know, I also like the line in the real message. This was only the coming attraction this season. And it seems like so much more. And you get into the playoffs, and game one was so disappointing here for the fans in Portland. But again, as Larry Miller has said, and as others have said as well, the youngest team in the playoffs this year is Portland. So hopefully with this core group, a lot of years to come. Roy didn't want to, had to put it up. Ball loose and picked up by Landry.
Well, I'll tell you, the different combinations that Nate McMillan's using tonight. Now he has Batum in there with Travis Outlaw. Now, they have played together before.
Not much, though.
But not with Aldridge as the center.
Yeah.
And so this is a different combination completely.
Lowry, foul on Batum. That's his third. Just got back in there after 7 minutes. And, boy, the Rockets, and this is what you do, a well-coached team, when you get another team who's in foul trouble, team foul trouble, put your head down, go to the rim. You're going to shoot free throws, and that's what Houston has done here in the quarter.
Well, the Blazer philosophy is push to the baseline where you have help, but you have to remember there's no centers in there.
Now there is.
Yeah, now there is. So when Steve Blake pushed his man, he let him go directly to the basket. It wasn't towards the sideline or the baseline. It was directly for the basket, and you don't have shot blockers in there. Now you do with Joel Quizbilliam, so you have to adjust a little bit according to who's in the game.
This is 7-0 Houston run, and they have claimed a 3-point lead with 5 minutes left here in the first half. Lob backdoor to Roy from Steve Blake. We've seen that a time or two.
Yeah, Ron Artest was fronting Blake with his strength. He wasn't going to let Blake get out and get that down pick. And Steve Blake saw it, and the Blazers, for the first time, go zone defense.
Yeah, Artest looks to attack that. Gets it off to Landry. Boy, and every time, game one or game two, any time a Houston role player, it seems, has had a mid-range jumper, it is knocked down.
Well, they didn't have a good zone offense going against it, but the Blazers' zone wasn't much better.
Aldridge didn't look at the rim until the passing lane was taken away, and he dropped it down, so he becomes the second Blazer into double figures with 10.
Let's see what the Blazers do this time. Now they're still back in that, now it's a 1-2-2 zone.
Outlaw out at the point.
Yeah.
Landry Puts it on the floor against Outlaw and scores. Another strong drive, aggressive take by a Houston player. And Landry off the bench with his second field goal.
Well, I'd like to say that it was good offense, but I think it was worse defense right there.
Aldridge, tough shot. Hit it again. Marcus Aldridge with 12 now, and he's had a nice quarter.
Now, no Yao Ming over there getting a nice rest. He's played 13 minutes of this game, so he'll be ready in that second half.
Artest, pick and roll with Hayes. Wafer for three.
Boy, that was nice. Blazers that time went back to their man-to-man.
Von Wafer, 10 off the bench here in this first half on 3 of 5 shooting. He had a pretty quiet game one with just 6 points on 1 of 6 shooting. Not the case tonight, and continues these Houston players to step up and drill open shots.
Ahmad Rashad back here in our Atlanta studios. Tweet, retweet, @reply. What does it all mean? The NBA and NBA TV are on Twitter. Get real-time stats, scores, and insider access from the NBA playoffs at twitter.com/NBA, or send Chris, Gary, and me your questions or comments at twitter.com/NBA TV.
And Michael Holden, as Houston 7 for 8 shooting here in the quarter. Portland 8 for 16, not bad, but Rockets now back to shooting 61%. Scola the foul.
And what hurts about
second
that
foul on him
is it was the second unit that brought that shooting percentage way up for the Houston Rockets. And they continue to really defend the three-point shot well. They only give up 6 a game. That's number 3 in the NBA, so the Blazers haven't taken advantage.
Aldridge over Scola, hits again. So LaMarcus Aldridge with 10 in the quarter and 7 of 9 shooting now.
Yeah, and see, he was missing that same type of shot. He was trying to get to the foul line too much. They were backing up on him, so now he's taking the wide-open 3.
Lowry and Wafer been the hot Rockets off the bench. Wafer baseline 12 in the quarter for Von Wafer. Portland tries to run out. Aldridge up ahead of the pack, but Scola right with him. Now they go back to the red-hot Aldridge.
Someone should tell the Blazers that Wafer goes all left.
LaMarcus hits again. I don't think he's hit the rim in this quarter.
Yeah, well, he was, 3 for 12 in game 1? He looked at tape all by himself, and he figured out, hey, they're waiting for me. I've got to take that wide-open jump shot, and tonight he is.
Lowry. Finally, a bench player misses for Houston. Down goes Roy. Portland back. No numbers, though. Outlaw to Aldridge again. They collapse around him this time. Outlaw the 3. Well short. Rebound Lowry. Here he comes against Blake. Aldridge tracking it. Blocked it. Rockets wanted a goaltend. And Roy over Yao. Yes, sir.
Well, that's the shot Roy has to make. That little intermediate jump shot over Yao. Yao does not want to pick up fouls.
Get the feeling a big final 90 seconds of the half here. Artest for 3. Long rebound tipped out to Roy. Portland back 3 on 2. Roy turns Scola around and scores.
And you say
frozen.
A good 90 seconds right here finally has the crowd into the game. Something to cheer about.
8-2 Portland run. Wafer puts his head down again. Presbilla there to effect the shot. Portland looks to run again.
Well, they can get a 2-for-1 here.
Aldridge against Scola. What a half Aldridge has had. Kicks it out. Blake wouldn't take the 3. Roy wouldn't. And 3 in the key on Presbilla.
Well, he kept thinking the Blazers were going to take the shot. And he was looking to rebound. That's what good offensive rebounders do. They figure out who's going to shoot. As you see Brandon going right here.
Scola thought he was going to pass.
Yeah.
Turned completely around by Roy. Brandon, 19 points here in the first half. 35 points out of Aldridge and Roy for Portland.
Now they're going to try to get a 2-for-1 with Brooks.
Boy, moving pick at the top. That's
sure
what
was.
McMillan wanted. Yao to stuck out his hip and clip Blake. Here's Brooks. They switch it. Artest, fadeaway 2, short, rebound, dug out by Aldridge, up ahead to Blake.
They don't
just
have
can hold for 1.
Yeah, they didn't have the break. Houston got back well. The Blazers are going to take a 20, as they so often do at the end of the half.
Well, as you mentioned, LaMarcus Aldridge in game 1 was 3 for 12 shooting. In the first quarter tonight, he was 2 for 4 and 4 points. But what a second quarter, 12 in the quarter for LaMarcus.
Well, it's a different series when LaMarcus Aldridge, the second leading Blazer scorer, a guy that averaged 22 a game the last 12 games of the season, can come out and hit that shot. That's the shot he's made all year long. He was just trying to force the action in game 1. Get to the foul line. That's not his game if they back up on him.
The Rockets do not have a foul to give here, by the way, so Portland can be aggressive. You think they'll spread it? Let Roy go one-on-one again. That's been successful so far tonight.
And I'm sure Artest will be on Roy to try to stop that.
LaMarcus Aldridge, by the way, 6 for 6 in the quarter shooting.
Now, if Sergio were in the game, I would say Fernandez went in the game. They'd work that corner play where Fernandez stays in the corner and all of a sudden he breaks for the basket down the baseline.
Battier is on Rudy. He's obviously watched scouting tape.
Yes, yes.
Outlaw. Now Roy. Artest is on him. Roy, hesitation move on Artest. Spins it up. No. Rebound Hayes. 2 seconds. And that'll do it for the half. Portland on the season. When they lead at halftime at home, they are 26-0.
Let's take a look at the Volkswagen game summary. There it is. Rockets 51, Blazers 53. Take it away, fellas.
The only thing that stands out, GP, is the fact that the Rockets shot 18 free throws, which means, they got to the nine times or more, and that they're probably being more aggressive and getting to the line, or that they're going inside. That's usually what that indicates. But besides everything else, besides the bench points of the Rockets, the Rockets dominating.
Bench points is the biggest thing. They wouldn't even be in this game if their bench wouldn't have stepped up. Wafer and all them, they came in and did a great job. They was attacking the basket a lot. And I don't think, because Yao Ming is not playing well, that's what they have to do to stay in this basketball game.
Here are the keys to winning.
Well, I said that they had to work inside out, and you see the points in the paint, they have 10. They're not necessarily working inside with Yao, but they're 5 for 10. Roy is definitely doing this thing, 19 points, and I love the fact that two guard has 6 rebounds, GP.
And then, as we say, that the perimeter shots had to keep coming. You see Brooks and them are not making that shot anymore for the Rockets, so they're 2 for 7 from the three-point line. That's why this game is where it's at. And then the relaxed play, I think Portland is playing relaxed.
All right, they're ready for the second half. Let's get out to Portland. Quack, quack, Aaron.
He's been physical. He's been aggressive on the offensive end. Blazers come out immediately and try to get Roy the ball against Artest.
He got Yao in the air. He's hit, and he'll shoot free throws. Boy, 3 fouls on Yao. And not a wise one there, and he knew it as he left his feet trying to go for the block shot, and Ron Artest now discussing that with Yao. But here it is. This is textbook Roy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I thought Rick Adelman did a great job of minutes for Yao Ming in that first half, keeping him out of foul trouble. He only had 2. And that number 3 is big because, as we said, Mutombo will not be back with that sprained knee in this ball game.
They're calling it a sprained knee, but it's a lot more than that. As Roy makes 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Portland 7 for 10 at the line. Houston 13 for 18.
And once again, foul shooting will be big in this ball game. They get to the line a lot more than the Blazers.
Aaron Brooks had that huge game 1, but as you talked about, Brooks just 1 for 2 in the first half and 2 points. Brooks baseline, kicks it out. Artest for 3. It's long. Rebound Aldridge.
What a great rebounding game Aldridge is having. That's his 8th rebound, his 7th defensive rebound.
Roy catch off the Prisbilla pick. Now he's left all alone. Rounding out a shot Brandon normally puts down.
but that's the shot he has to take. If they're backing up and giving him that shot, foul line extended, you don't win if he misses that shot, but the thing is, you've got to take it.
Yeah, out top of the key, you give him that shot, he'll knock it down. Just the second field goal of the game for Yao Ming, 7 points to this point with 5 rebounds.
We saw in the game one, Yao moved out to that foul line a lot more than tonight. You've got to go out there with him. In his early career, he couldn't make that shot.
Aldridge, first miss since the first quarter. And Houston back the other way, looking to reclaim the lead.
Aaron Brooks and Lowry will push it up early in the shot clock, and then they come back and throw it back out.
Brooks knocked away, and it's going to be Houston ball. Blake was trying to sell the officials on that call that it would be Portland ball.
Well, I don't think Joey Crawford or Derek Stafford really had a good look at that.
I think our replay is showing the folks in the truck that it was a good call.
Yeah.
As it usually is. Artest. Yao again from the perimeter. This one off the mark. Rebound. Blazers box out. No one gets a body on Scola, and he grabs it and scores.
Well, Yao Ming is not going to put it on the floor and dribble to the basket. So when he gets it out there, you've got to start thinking rebounding.
Double comes on Roy, and Artest fouls. He knew it. So we'll see if maybe Portland can get Houston into some team foul trouble here in the third quarter and get some trips to the free throw line. That's what the Rockets did to Portland in the first and second quarters.
Well, Artest will be aggressive trying to steal the basketball. He's 9th all-time in steals per game, so he goes after it.
Roy up and under, trying to get bailed out. He's had to throw it at the rim, and it's picked up by Battier.
Yeah, there it.
Brooks' foul line jumper hits. That's the kind he was hitting time and time again in game one, and Houston a 3-point lead now.
Yeah, there are other places Roy can get a better shot than that. He's passing up some open ones.
Foul on Brooks, the hold on Blake as he was heading down the middle. And again, that's 3 team fouls now on Houston. So again, maybe Portland, as the field goals are not coming in abundance here in the third quarter so far, and get to the free throw line, do some damage there.
Yeah, they haven't gone in a lot to LaMarcus in this half. So let's see if they can get him back involved in this offense. Here's the pick and pop right there.
Yao covers it. Now they drop off Aldridge, leave him wide open. He throws it up short, maybe too open. Rebound Yao. Blazers ice cold to begin the second half. And the Rockets back, starting to build that confidence back.
Didn't look like they had great follow-through for LaMarcus Aldridge on that last shot.
Scola to Artest. Wouldn't take the three. Now a long 2 by Artest, and he hit it anyway. And Portland needs time. An 8-0 run to start the second half, erasing much of Portland's 10-2 run to end the first quarter and first half. 59-54, Houston on top. Unzip the jacket, we hope only for a second. Go on to Trailblazers.com, click the For Fans page for more information on this great promotion as we throw it down to Rebecca Harlow.
Mike, I asked assistant coach Joe Prunty at the half whether or not we'd continue to see some of those interesting lineups in an effort to confuse Houston, and he said part of that was due to foul situations, but he did address Greg and Joel. He said he liked what it did for us defensively, but not so much offensively, so we might see those guys together in the second half, not sure. And Brandon Roy just took it to the hoop, which is exactly what Nate was asking for from his guys in that last time out. He was saying the win is going to go to the team that attacks the basket. That's how he wants the Blazers to fight back into this game, Mike.
Well, that's what Roy did right out of the timeout, as you said. 22 for him, but Houston's suddenly red hot. Luis Scola now is 4 for 6 and 8 points. Of course, Scola put together a great game one and had 19.
Yeah, they're doing more picking and popping now to get the outside shot. Blazers trying to get Roy the ball.
Roy again takes it at Yao, trying to kick out of it. Saves it to Aldridge. Shot clock at 10. Now they reset. Still plenty of time. Blake back to Aldridge. Top of the key. Scola right in his face. It's off the mark. Rebound Battier.
The Blazers, up till this last possession, were getting the shots they wanted. Only Brandon Roy forced one. But all the other 5 shots were wide open. Roy missed 2 and Aldridge missed 2. But that's the shots they want.
Brooks, baseline. Kicks it to Scola. Scores, and he's fouled. Houston has its largest lead of the game now, and their confidence continues to grow. And Joe Przybilla complaining to Derek Stafford that he was hit in the throat by a forearm. Right there, and he was, right in the jaw. But Scola careful, just leading with the arm and not clearing out. That's okay.
That's the quickness of Aaron Brooks. The Blazers pushing to the baseline, but he was so quick getting to the basket that LaMarcus Aldridge had to move quicker than Joel Przybilla could get over and rotate onto his man, Scola.
It's a 12-2 Rockets run. Blake cut off baseline. Now needs help. Aldridge again. Portland fighting the shot clock and not getting good looks. The Rockets have turned it up defensively. Roy, foul line, hit it. Boy, Portland needed that.
Yeah, they've got to use that. They're making Yao Ming defend the pick and roll, and they've got to make sure Roy is the guy that's doing it, not Blake, because they're going behind the pick and roll on Blake. But Roy, they're trying to get over the top, and they can. He's got easy shots.
Good defense by Blake. Moving around the pick, right over the top of the Scola pick. They skip it to Artest for 3. Around and out. Przybilla thrown down by Yao. That's going to be the 4th foul on Yao. And Yao talking to Joey Crawford about it, not liking it.
Well, I know he had his hand in his back. I think Joel helped the call. There's no doubt that Joel isn't thrown that much.
A little push off.
Yeah, just a little push off.
Now Carl Landry in. And Yao will sit down with 4 fouls. Still 6:50 left here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, now the Blazers should be able to offensive rebound. Remember, they're number 1 in the NBA, 13 a game offensive rebounds. They haven't been able to do that against the
Roy
Rockets.
splits the defense and finger rolls it in. Yao leaves. Portland attacks the rim.
Absolutely. There's the key. No shot blocker in there. No Mutombo. No Yao Ming.
26 for Roy. Battier at the angle. Now to Artest. Shot clock at 10. And a blocking foul going to be called on Batum. That's his 4th. And no free throws here as Przybilla and Artest come together a bit and are doing some jawing.
Well, Artest puts his head down and knocks people down. Then he expects everyone to help him up, and you see Brandon go right around Artest. There was a time that Artest played better defense than he does now.
Aaron Brooks over Przybilla. Threw it up off the mark. Rebound, but soon Blake ends up on his backside, and Roy shoots a glance back, and he'll wait for help.
Once again, they're trying to get
that ball tipped, nearly stolen. Looked like it might have been a kick ball. Here's Blake down the middle, finger roll. Yes, sir. That was the offense, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Nate said now, last time out, let's roll along the ground, flip it up, and let Blake go for a layup.
Portland back within 1. Foul on Przybilla inside. That'll be his 3rd away from the ball. And all of a sudden, Portland now catching up in the team foul category. Little by little here, 3rd team foul on the Blazers.
Now it'll be interesting what the refs do now. This game's getting a little more physical, getting more to look like a playoff game. Will they let them play, or will they try to clean it up, as they say in ref talk?
Here's Artest. He wants the ball back. Blazers double him. Artest dribbles through it. Gives it off to Landry. Off the mark. Aldridge high for the rebound. His 9th.
He's been a bear on the defensive board tonight.
Roy thought about the quick pull-up 3. Foul on Artest. I don't think they would have scolded that. Counted that, as Roy will shoot free throws. Because Houston now in the penalty for the final 5:25 of the quarter. Przybilla out, Greg Oden in for Portland.
Yeah, Artest having all kinds of trouble with Brandon Roy defending him one-on-one with without the big guys back there to have his back.
Prisbilla gets a standing ovation as he heads for the bench. We've certainly seen that before, and a timeout. Rick Adelman and the Rockets. So after the hot start to the quarter by Houston, Portland has bounced right back and can reclaim the lead with a couple of Roy free throws. At Playoff Central on Trailblazers.com, where you'll find the latest interviews. Some blogs are on there, I think.
Sure.
Some matchup history and ticket information. That's on Trailblazers.com, where Mike Rice spends a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
How about the bench for the Blazers? 2 for 10. Greg Oden off the bench has half the Blazers' offensive rebounds, 2 of 4. And Rudy Fernandez has more, 2/3 of their points with 2 field goals.
Hey, there's Brenton Zachary there.
Oh, yeah.
In the black Roy jersey, son of esteemed executive producer Scott Zachary.
That shirt was probably free.
As much
then.
garbage as I get from Brenton Zachary, we should not be showing him on TV. Via the BlackBerry, his dad's BlackBerry. So Roy to shoot free throws, try and give Portland the lead back.
Interesting, they're going with Nicholas Batum much longer tonight simply because Travis Outlaw's 1 for 5 in the game and didn't have a great offensive or defensive game in game 1. So now they've got the youngster, the rookie, and there's a lot of rookies on this team that have performed really well for the Blazers this year.
Roy 9 in the quarter, 28 for the game. Artest backing down Blake. Now steps and fades, threw it up short. Rebound Oden inside.
That's a big time rebound along. And that's the kind of shot that Artest takes that you're not quite sure if you're Rick Adelman you want.
Aldridge takes a step to the foul line, threw it up long.
See, those are wide open shots. You know, those are the shots you take. You don't decide, well, should I take one more dribble shot? Just shoot the ball. That's what you were doing earlier.
Brooks foul on Oden. That's going to be his 4th.
See, and Oden could really help the Blazers right now if he doesn't pick up any more fouls. Joel's a little tired. He's banged with Yao Ming. When Yao comes back in, they're going to have Joel in there. So
Joel's going back in right now.
Yeah, when that guard comes off that pick, you just have to run for the rim. Let Aaron Brooks stop and try to take a jumper off the move rather than pick up that 4th foul.
Just you don't necessarily need to cut off baseline.
No.
Just track in from behind. You're going to block the shot.
Oh, absolutely.
Artest and Batum going to war on that right block. Here's Brooks out against Blake. Shot clock at 5. Hayes offers the pick. Prisbilla's got to be careful. Artest for 3. Long rebound tracked down by Roy. Portland a chance to run. Aldridge was heading the pack, and Brandon wisely says, I'm not up for a low percentage pass. Battier, the defense, step back by Roy, and he hits it long too.
But that was excellent defense by Battier. You could tell that Coach K was happy the way Battier kept his hand right in the face of Roy.
30 for Roy. Scola trying to set up Battier against Roy. Scola cut off baseline. Brooks, little fader over Prisbilla, and that's what we floater that is. And Brooks hit a few of those in game 1. And drops this one down here. Just his 3rd field goal of the game. 6 points for Aaron Brooks.
And that's why they went to the Elite 8 a couple times with Aaron Brooks. That young man could play.
Back to Roy. He's got the hot hand. Aldridge needs to get on track in this quarter. Dumps it to Prisbilla. He's fouled by Hayes.
Nice dump off. And that's what Aldridge, when he looked at tape, saw. They really are coming to him and Roy with double teams. Dump it off.
Fouls on Battier, not Hayes, as I said. There's Brandon with that long jumper. Here's the dump off inside. You see Hayes was following Aldridge through. And Prisbilla, second trip to the line for him tonight. As Outlaw and Rudy Fernandez will check in for Portland, and this is a big spot for Travis Outlaw, who was your Gatorade X Factor. They need something out of Outlaw here. 1 for 5, no rebounds in the game.
Yeah, and Travis kind of limped off at halftime. He's got to get his mind. Remember, he's the 3rd leading scorer off the bench in the NBA. The Blazers depend on his scoring off the bench. And minute-wise, his minutes are down a little bit in this series. He's 2nd in the NBA in minutes played as the Blazers go into that zone.
Aaron Brooks angle, gets a pick from Scola. Now Scola and Aldridge, one-on-one. They try to switch it. Boy, Scola had some room for a moment. Aldridge nearly blocked it. Prisbilla over to grab the miss. Boy, Prisbilla affected that shot as well. That ball looked like it was halfway down.
But Scola, the young man from Argentina, really knows how to scrap around that basket.
They double Roy, leaving Prisbilla wide open. Joel rolls to the hoop to try and get some attention by the defense. Foul Scola, sticking the leg out. That's his 4th. So the starting front line for the Rockets now each with 4 fouls, Yao and Scola.
Yeah, and Scola's big because he goes out of there. You lose a lot of offense from that power forward position when they bring in Chuck Hayes, who is an excellent defender, but he can't score like Scola or pass. Scola, of course, had so much experience playing international basketball. That's why he made all rookie last year. He wasn't a rookie in experience.
Here's a correction. That is only 3 fouls on Scola, we're now being told. As Aldridge rolled in the first. LaMarcus 6 for 6 from the field in the second quarter, but 0 for 4 so far here in the third.
Well, that's the adjustments inside a game. We talked about adjustments between games 1 and 2. That was adjustments made at halftime, how to slow up LaMarcus Aldridge, and they've done a nice job of keeping the ball out of his hands.
18 for Aldridge. It's a 13-2 Portland run. Brooks allowed to clear through on the baseline. Now spins back, drops to Hayes. He reverses it. No, Prisbilla was there again. Might have got a piece of that. In fact, he did get a block shot.
Now they want to run Rudy off some picks or get it to LaMarcus.
Aldridge baseline, no, but he's fouled. Hayes, a nice job to prevent the easy field goal. And LaMarcus will have to earn him at the free throw line.
That is a playoff foul. Don't give anything easy. And they didn't right there. And that's what Hayes does. He's an excellent defender, smart. Doesn't play the offense like some of the other people on the bench for Houston.
Carl Landry will check in after this first free throw attempt.
Now Landry was the offensive guy until he was shot in the leg, and he hasn't really come back as strong after the shooting. And an everyday occurrence, getting shot in the leg.
He's lucky that's all it was.
Yes, very fortunate.
Just young man. An amazing incident. As he had described it, as Aldridge makes 1 of 2. The gunman was not very far away as Roy nearly steals. But it's finally picked up by Landry. The gunman not far away, and in fact Landry said, I don't know how he missed. He ended up shooting him in the leg during a robbery attempt. Here's Aldridge. Excuse me, Artest against Aldridge. Runs into Prisbilla. Dumps it off. Landry's jumper rolls out, and Aldridge has a double-double, 19 points, 10 rebounds.
Well, the muscle on this unit that's in for Houston, they have to score on second-chance points. They're 3rd in the NBA at second-chance points, so they know how to do that.
Prisbilla zips it out top to Rudy. Fernandez, Aldridge, top of the key jumper, in.
See, that was in rhythm. Nice pick and roll with Fernandez, passing the ball. He just got it in rhythm. That's when LaMarcus is at his best.
Blazers trailed by 6 earlier this quarter. They've now got their largest lead of 7. Can they sustain?
And Yao Ming on the bench with fouls.
High pick and roll. Roy gets back to Brooks. Brooks going to try the middle, spins it up, and good. Nice move by Aaron Brooks.
Blazers did a nice job of defending the pick and roll, but Brooks, just with a burst of speed, which he has, got through the Blazers.
Aldridge against Hayes.
That's what Hayes can do. He can defend.
Rudy. And a turnover, Portland, with Just under a minute left in the quarter. Blazers wanted to close the quarter strong. And Nate McMillan didn't want to see the turnover, but Portland has been very good in that category. That's only their 5th of the game.
Now Roy and Aldridge playing a lot of minutes in this ball game. Yao Ming, because of foul trouble, is getting a nice rest for that 4th quarter.
Brooks again. Aldridge on him.
Remember, Brooks had 5 3-pointers in the...
Kicks it out to Artest for 3. It's off. Rebound tipped out of bounds off of Rudy Fernandez. As it was a long rebound, Portland was all packed inside. Hayes was the Rocket who had a chance at it. Now, new 24 for Houston.
Houston does a nice job of crashing, but getting back. Both teams give up very few fast break points. Blazers, number 2, only giving up 10.
Brooks for 3. Yeah, Aaron Brooks having a quarter now after being quiet in the first half.
You got to step out on that. They got to pick, and Aldridge didn't step out. You've got to step out on Aaron Brooks, especially after his performance in Game 1.
About a 3.5-second difference. Shot clock and game clock. Roy against Artest. Brandon for 3. No, long. Aldridge the tip, but right to Artest, who is clearing. And he dunks.
Boy, is that tough.
Outlaw with 1 second. And the Rockets end the quarter on a 7-0 run, and it didn't take long. Blazers had a 7-point lead just seconds ago. And Ron Artest gets the tip out from Aldridge. He's got 19. Roy with 30, and we head to the 4th quarter, tied at 72.
Lots of playoff action coming up this week. Tomorrow on TNT, it's the Heat at the Hawks, followed by the Hornets at the Nuggets. On NBA TV, we'll have the Sixers taking on the Magic. Friday on ESPN and ESPN2, it's the Cavs at the Pistons, Magic at Sixers, and the Blazers at the Rockets. Finally, Sunday on ABC, it's the Celtics at the Bulls and the Cavs at the Pistons. Now let's get you back out to Portland.
Mad at yourself.
Scoring title. Oh, Tracy McGrady, absolutely. But he's always been big in the playoffs. He's averaged 25 a game, Tracy McGrady, in the playoffs. 10 field goals in his every game he's averaged in the playoffs, so he hasn't won.
Blazers 28 for 56 shooting in the game. Houston 28 for 56 shooting in the game. Dead even. Von Wafer had a huge second quarter, short with his first attempt here. But the rebound is Hayes, and he kicks it out. Wafer out on the perimeter. Lowry for 3. Prisbilla the rebound.
This team that's in there right now, they're bangers. There's not a lot of shooters. That's why Von Wafer is shooting the basketball. They need someone like him to shoot it. Here comes Rudy.
Rudy step back 3. Got it at the angle.
Yeah, they ran Von Wafer off of 2 picks, and he got through the first one, and then Rudy cut back to the other side.
7. Back door goes Lowry. Blake the near steal. Battier in the corner. Got to stay on him. That's where he loves to shoot the 3. Outlaw trying to.
Sure does. He doesn't dribble nearly as well as his stand-up shooter.
Lowry down the left side. Trying to kick it back. Blake was there and knocked it away. Portland 3 on 3. Now 4 on 3. Blake drop pass. Aldridge with 2 hands.
Well, that's a big comeback from the 7-0 run. And the momentum was on the Houston Rockets side at the end of the 3rd quarter.
And a quick 5-0 run for Portland here. Back and forth we go.
How long can you keep Yao Ming and Scola out of the ballgame?
Wafer try in the middle. Scores and he's fouled. And again, Von Wafer on many occasions tonight has just put his head down and run to the hoop as Yao will check in now. It's the last 2 buckets for Portland. First the Rudy 3.
And then the nice break back. And Von Wafer loves to cross over and go left. Now he can go right, but he doesn't shoot nearly as well as he does when he goes left. He can stop and shoot the jumper or go all the way to the hole. And he has really been a thorn in the Blazers tonight. He has kept Houston in the ball game. It was Ron Artest scoring, then Von Wafer.
Wafer at 12 in the second quarter alone. They run Fernandez off another pick. Wafer the steal. He was tracking Rudy and gets the dunk. So 5 quick points by Von Wafer. And again, a Blazer 5-point lead erased in a hurry.
Yeah, by a guy, Von Wafer, that got picked off 2 possessions ago. This time, he ran through the pick.
Aldridge against Scola.
Yeah, pick up another foul on Scola.
LaMarcus turns to the middle. High arcing jump hook is off. Gets the rebound back, and he's fouled by Battier.
And that's not bad, because Battier's defense is really a big part of Houston's defense in that fourth quarter.
Fans thought the foul was on Yao, but as we clearly saw, it's right there on Battier.
Yeah, Battier reached in, but I'll tell you what. Battier is really, he's the guy that can slow up Roy in that fourth quarter. Not so much Artest. Roy, that's why Roy at the end of the quarter should have gone to the hoop. There was no shot blockers in the game, and he had been going around Ron Artest a lot earlier in the game.
Portland is 13 for 19 at the free throw line as Brandon Roy getting a valuable rest time on the Blazer bench. Rockets 14 of 20. So the shooting both from the field and from the line almost dead even for these two teams tonight as Brandon Roy, as soon as I say that, gets up and heads to the table. He'll check back in next dead ball, and Roy will likely come in for Aldridge. That's the normal pattern.
Aldridge I saw before the game working on his foul shooting, so
maybe he shouldn't next time. Scola foul line jumper long. Rebound outline traffic.
Well, he doesn't do that very often, outlaw.
Lob to the rim. Aldridge couldn't get it down.
Ooh, that was there, too.
Portland fortunate to get it back. Blake draws a double. Aldridge missed Rudy, who was wide open at the angle. Blake still 5 to shoot. Looks off his. Rebound picked up by Battier.
Once again,
Scola against Aldridge. Free throws coming for Scola. Another missed opportunity for Portland, and Houston takes immediate advantage of it, and they can reclaim the lead with a couple of Scola free throws here as Brandon Roy will check back in after the first free throw.
Now it's Houston's defense that's keeping them in the game. The first half, the Blazers had solved that. They scored 53 points, got a lot of easy shots. Ball was moving from one side of the court to the other. Now there's a little more stagnation, a lot more pick and roll where Houston feels very comfortable defending that.
Travis Outlaw will sit down, so Aldridge will not come out here. He will not get a rest yet. We thought for sure this might be the time to give him the rest, but I don't know if he's going to get one tonight.
I'll tell you,
it's a must win for Portland.
The Blazers are down 0-1 in a 7-game series. You can't lose game 2 on your home court. Aldridge gets no rest.
And Roy with his 30 points back in there. Trying to get Aldridge free on Scola. Blake turns the corner on Lowry. Had to throw it out. Shot clock still at 8. And Battier trying to keep the ball out of Roy's hands and successful so far, although now Roy has it. Shot clock at 2. Yao pulls down the rebound inside, his 8th.
Great box out by Shane Battier.
Here's Wafer again. Blocked by Roy.
What'd they call it?
Nothing, out of bounds, Houston. Brandon Roy just blocked the Wafer attempt, but Von Wafer has been attacking just like this all night long. This time denied, but Houston will inbound with 17 on the clock when we come back. Very patriotic Blazer dancers this evening. We always like to see that.
Oh, absolutely.
Tied at 78 with 8:40. The patriotism, I mean.
Yes.
8:40 left here in this game. Wells Fargo, the official financial partner of the Blazers, proud to take its customers to the next stage. Now they're taking us to the next game. We'll fly to Houston on Thursday. And Friday night have game 3 for you. Right back here on KGW News Channel 8. As we throw it down now to Rebecca Harlow.
Mike, Nate wants to step up the defense, so he is putting Greg and Joel back in the game. He's telling them he wants them to play up. Now, this is not only to prevent some penetration, push the guards out to the side, but also take care of Yao Ming. He certainly thinks that he wants some defense here for the next couple of minutes. On the offensive end of the ball, he's telling the guys he wants lots of ball movement, especially with this lineup, so that they can continue to attack Mike and Mike.
All right, so the Twin Towers back in there together.
For a team that never used the Twin Towers, this is the crucial times. Now, the first time they used it in this ball game, Roy wasn't with them. They had Travis Outlaw in there as the scorer. And I said I'd like to see Roy in with the Twin Towers. Well, I'm getting my wish right now. And Rudy's got to do the job on Von Wafer.
That's been the problem, his aggressiveness. Scola, they kick it. Lowry for three, and it's good in the corner. That's a set play out of the timeout by a good coach in Rick Adelman.
Yeah, and they've got Yao Ming as the decoy in that middle.
And Houston back on top by three. You see Battier's philosophy. Roy can't hurt you if he doesn't have the ball.
They're playing him like a boxing one. They're just pounding him.
Blake hit inside. Lowry, the hard bump on Blake. You can't complain about every call. As Blake will shoot free throws now. In Portland again, and we've talked about this all season. Young team, perhaps the reason why, but very contagious are the free throw misses for Portland. They have been all year. Blake normally reliable at the line. We've seen him give up a few here in this quarter, and just as we say that, there's another.
Yeah, Blake is an excellent foul shooter, but when the team is behind, sometimes he puts too much pressure on himself.
Makes one of two. Portland 15 for 22 at the free throw line, well below their season average.
And Houston only usually gives up 18 attempts a game, so the Blazers are above Houston's average as Aldridge gets back in.
And now that's a veteran move by Yao. As Yao locks up the arm of Oden and then kind of leans back. Four, trying to keep Portland alive here for a Game 2 win. And scores, and the Blazers retake the lead, and Rick Adelman needs time. The defense by Oden at one end, and the dunk at the other.
Ahmad Rashad back here in our Atlanta studios. Tweet, retweet, at reply. What does it all mean? The NBA and NBA TV are on Twitter. Get real-time stats, scores, and insider access from the NBA playoffs at twitter.com/NBA, or send Chris, Gary, and me your questions or comments at twitter.com/NBA TV.
All right, thanks, guys. Houston ball back in play as Aaron Brooks brings it across under 4 to play. Wafer in the corner. He's had a big night. Aaron Brooks going to try and get Oden out of there.
Boy, Blake did a nice job of getting back to the dribbling Brooks.
Brooks, no room for the shot. Blake goes down. Brooks to the middle, and Oden has just fouled out.
See, he did the great thing. He left Yao Ming, came over to help out, but you gotta block the shot at the rim. Don't bend down to the quicker Aaron Brooks. Right there. See, his hand is go way up to the rim.
And that's something Greg Oden will learn.
Yeah, if he watches Yao Ming early in his career committed a lot of fouls the same way. Now his hands are up by the rim. He gets you a little with the body underneath, but when you're 7'6", they don't watch that.
First trip to the line for Brooks. Here's a moment ago is where, now that's not coming straight up with the arms necessarily.
Yeah, that's an interesting call right there.
As Brooks makes one of two, so it's a 1-point Portland lead. Brisbilla back in there. He's got 5. Of course, as we mentioned, Aldridge also with 5.
And with Artest on Roy, he doesn't face guard him like Battier.
Outlaw. Oh, he hits a big jumper over Wafer. A big time for Outlaw to hit his second field goal of the night.
Von Wafer was a Blazer, and Outlaw and him played one-on-one almost every day. Outlaw knows he can score on him.
Brooks, step back 3, well off the mark. Offensive rebound, Artest. Wafer for 3, short. Rebound, Blake, the box out of Scola.
What a great box out on Scola by Blake. You've got to be a veteran to do that and then come up with a rebound.
This is a big trip for Portland. Outlaw takes it on Wafer, top 2, no. Rebound off of Scola. Portland ball.
Ooh, another big call.
That would have been the 6th on Aldridge.
Yeah, oh. Rick Adelman up off the bench.
Blazers 2 fulls and a 20 left. Houston just 1 full and a 20.
Trying to get the ball to Brandon Roy now against Artest.
Roy with 36.
They got to move the pick down a little lower. If he goes below the pick, shoot him outside.
Roy crossover, needs help, drops it to Brisbilla. Fortunate to be there. Now Joel needs some help. Roy, step back 3, got it! And he went down, thought he might have a 4-point play. Roy with 39.
The Blazers are going to need him to get 40 to win this game.
Brooks lost it out of bounds. Portland ball. Brisbilla held his ground.
That's what happens sometimes with second-year guards.
Look at Roy here. Nowhere else to go. Shot clock down to 4. Let it fly and buried it. He's put 39 on Ron Artest and Shane Battier, 2 of the better perimeter defenders in the NBA.
And he's played a lot of minutes.
Aldridge along too early in the clock. Missed it long. Rebound Houston.
But you can't be timid. If you're going to take the shot, you got to take it. If it's wide open, that was wide open.
Artest against Blake.
He'll try to back him
Step back 2. Long. Rebound. Roy inside. Grabs it. And we got a loose ball foul. We're going the other way.
Boy,
it's on Scola, I believe.
Yeah, Scola went over him. Yao was big enough. They didn't see him, but
that'll be free throws for Portland. No, that's 14 fouls. First in the last 2 minutes on Houston.
They could play another
ball out of bounds.
They could play another 3 days, and Houston wouldn't be in foul trouble.
Big possession coming for Portland as they look to square this series at 1 apiece before we head to Houston for Game 3. .138 left. Blazer ball out of bounds. Houston no longer has a foul to give. And free throws are going to be a big part of this story, whether or not Portland hangs on. Brandon Roy, 39 points. There have only been 4 better playoff performances in Trailblazer history than what he's done here tonight.
He sure has, and they've needed every point. Now they really have some defensive firepower in there. Houston. Scola will be on LaMarcus Aldridge. Artest will be on Roy. And they have Battier on the scoring, Travis Outlaw, who hasn't scored tonight. He's 2 for 8.
And Houston, a good 3-point shooting team. Blazers would like to make this a 3-possession game. Roy, step back on Artest again. Around and out. Rebound picked up by Brooks. Rockets will try to attack quickly. Brooks nearly threw it away. He did! Outlaw steals! He's by himself and he'll jam!
Yes! Travis Outlaw might be shooting bad, but he's on the defensive edge.
Houston the other way. Yao scores.
Well, I tell you what, there was a lot of contact in there with Ron Artest just bullying his way down and knocking Roy down. But I guess it was a good no call. They're 6 down, and the Blazers are going to run it. I'd rather see LaMarcus set the pick and roll.
Roy, step through. Going to get to the rim. Fouled. I think it'll be on Brooks or Yao.
I think Yao.
No, it's on Battier. That's his fifth. And Roy back to the free throw line.
Boy, Battier came a long way to give some help, support against Roy. Now foul shooting will be really important for the Blazers going down the stretch. They've got a big enough lead that Houston has to do a lot of fouling.
Brandon Roy with 40 points. 10 in the quarter. And this to make it 41. Matching the third highest scoring game in Blazers playoff history.
And that's what stars are for, to win big playoff games. And Brandon Roy has really stepped up big time. He said he wanted his partners to do a little bit more in game 2, but I guess he's also going to do a lot of big stuff himself.
Blazer fans wanted so badly to be involved in game 1, and the place was raucous before game 1 and had such a good feeling to it. They were just taken out of the game. Here's the Brooks pass, which was over the head of Scola. Now, nobody came with Outlaw, and of course, the right thing is to go dunk it. But if he'd have stopped, he could have probably eaten 6, 7, 8 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, but you want to score. You got to lay up against the Houston Rockets. You take it. Otherwise, you're going to have to make foul shots. And I like my chances on a layup more than foul shots.
Houston does not have a timeout left.
Watch our test. He'll be the guy that tries to,
boy, listen to this place,
bully his way in. Hey, there's going to be a game 6.
Game 5.
5, I mean.
Brooks out top. Here's our test in the corner.
Don't foul him.
Lost out of bounds off of. Ed Malloy was going to say Portland ball as he was pointing to the leg, but then saw that it was off Outlaw.
Just don't foul him on it because he'll take a weird 3-point shot. So you don't want to block it. You just want to make it tough.
Brooks takes the 3 and hits over Prisbilla.
Man,
Yao gave a big pick, and it's only a 5-point game. And Portland going to take a timeout, and it's a full timeout. So we will take it as well. Houston not dead yet. 5-point ball game. Still a lot of time left. Well, the Blazers 2 20-second timeouts left. Houston does not have a timeout left, and that'll be big lead, especially in this situation. Rockets will foul immediately, of course, here, and then Blazers have to make their free throws as our camera time is being interrupted by a Trailblazer huddle. This is an outrage.
Especially with my mother watching in Florida. Hi, Mom.
She was.
Okay. But in the NBA...
It's a little late in Florida, is it not?
Well, hey, it doesn't matter. It's a playoff game. In the NBA, you've got to have your timeouts at the end. There's just no doubt about it. You can't win when you're 5 down without a timeout. Now, you have timeouts in the NBA. You can win any kind of game.
Blazers inbound to Rudy Fernandez, and that's a new wrinkle. Portland has had trouble at times getting the ball inbounds in situations like this at the hash mark. They run Rudy baseline, which we haven't seen. And now Fernandez will step up for the first time tonight to the free throw line. Blazers have been under their average all night, 19 for 26.
Yeah, and the Blazers have the team in there that's going to switch on everything down at the other end. They're not going to get Aaron Brooks a three-pointer like he just got on a pick play. They're going to switch on everything and keep, and you don't care if they get a 2. Let them drive to the hoop. Don't foul them because you have a 6-point lead with 27 seconds.
And now it's back to a 3-possession game.
See, they don't want Brooks to have the ball. They'd much rather have Artest shoot that one.
Aldridge the rebound, and he is fouled.
Yes.
And so much will be talked about with Roy's 41 points and 7 rebounds. But LaMarcus Aldridge, he took a lot of criticism after game 1, but he comes out tonight, 26 points, 12 rebounds on 11 of 19 shooting. That's answering the call.
Oh, absolutely. And the whole team answered the call. Houston thought because they won that first game so easy, the Blazers were going to fold a 10 up. But hey, Nate McMillan type teams always bounce back after an embarrassing loss. They've done it the whole season. That's how they won 54 games this year. Nate finished 4th in the voting for Coach of the Year.
I'm sure what they're discussing here, perhaps who the foul was on. The foul should have been Kyle Lowry, I think.
Yeah, it was Kyle Lowry that.
But, you know, you talk about a series that was supposed to be so physical and defensive, yet Houston in game 1 shoots 59%. And Portland in this game shoots 51% to this point. So higher than expected, perhaps, and the winning team in each of these games will be over the century mark. I think that's a little unexpected.
Yes, but in this series, you have 2 more days off. Both teams will readjust their defense, and they'll be ready to play big-time defense when they go to Houston coming up Friday night.
Brooks in transition throws the elbow at Blake. And they inbound Outlaw, and he is fouled immediately. 11.8 left. But again, Houston with no timeout in this situation. And that really, when you don't have that, you don't have much of a hope.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss, because then they can run it down and maybe your defense isn't set. So you want to make the foul shots, so they have to take it out of bounds. It gives your defense another 2 seconds to get set.
As there is Kevin Pritchard and the owner Paul Allen. They were not thrilled with Saturday's finish, but tonight should feel better. Kevin's gone back to the pink tie, evidently, so yeah, maybe that's the winning combination. Who knows?
Well, all the teams that lost home court advantage. The Bostons, they all won game 2. Travis Outlaw has to get his act together offensively, both shooting the ball and foul shots for game 3. There it is.
10 seconds left. Here's Brooks in transition. Stops for 3, and he hit it. Long 2, I think. And Ed Malloy wants to talk about it. They're going to look and see. And they want to make sure what the call is before they look at the replay.
Well, that's just the stoppage of play.
Now Houston can use it as a timeout.
Yeah, sure. But it's big. You want to review it, because if they get a 3-pointer, let's take a look right now. Now you got to go further than that. Oh, that's a 3. Yeah, that's a 3.
And it was a 3. So still a 2-possession game here.
Yeah.
Here's what they just saw. And there it is.
Yeah.
Blazers inbound to Roy, and he's fouled immediately.
You know,
Brooks ends up with 20 points, but he was not nearly as dominant as he was in game 1 with his 27. First half, Brooks, 2 points on 1 of 2 shooting.
Yeah. And, you know, it is a little dangerous to take it out full court when you've got a lead like the Blazers, 4 points. If you take it out at half court, they can't intercept it. They have no timeout, so they have to dribble down. That would take almost the whole 5 seconds. So the Blazers, by taking it out full court, if Houston intercepts it and scores, now they have a shot at winning. But if you take it out at half court, they have no shot. Yeah.
Brooks, a long 3, and he hit it with 1.9 left. 1 possession game with 1.9 seconds left. The foul's going to be called on Lowry. And Fernandez, I think he's going to be all right. He's holding his left knee, but I think he just slipped and skinned it up. That was scary momentarily, because that would have been a Portland turnover.
Boy, and I'll tell you, once again, you take it out full court, they have a chance like there. If he'd have fallen down and Houston intercepts it, they can hit a 3 and go up in this game. So if you take it out at half court, there's no way, even if they intercept the ball, they've got to put up a shot almost at half court with 1.5. So Blazers really taking a chance.
Oregon coach Ernie Kent.
Yeah.
On hand.
Boy, and he remembers a lot of those 3 points that
he's watching his old
Aaron Brooks.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's just throwing it up. Yeah. Oh. They still have to make 1 more foul shot, because 1.5.
Nothing easy about putting this one away, is there?
They got to stay up. Don't let them throw to half court to Lowry. And at the same time, Rudy has to pick up Artest.
Now it's over.
Now it's over.
Rudy, the interception. That'll do it.
Yeah. Whoa.
Trailblazers even the series. And answer the call big time after they were blown out.